Good evening, yogis. My name is Daniel. This is Daniel Lee Yoga. Thank you for joining me for practice today. Today is Friday, so we have a level 2 class, and this week we've been focusing on strength. And as far as today, it will be a 60-minute Vinyasa focused class. I've got my Oliver and Coney around here. I think they are in battle mode, so keep an eye on them. I will mention also that outside, oh my gosh, sorry, that was too funny. Man, they are tearing up the place. They are ready to have fun on a Friday night. I hope you are too. Um, it's also pouring rain outside right now, so we could lose power. Who knows? We might lose connection either from the rain or the wind or the cats. You never know. But you're here now, so thank you for joining me. In our strength poses, we've been working on strengthening our core, our shoulders, our quadriceps, hamstrings, and hip flexors as well. Really, just everything in the body. So we'll still have a full body workout today. In our level 2 classes, we usually advance to our poses. So as we go into our more advanced poses, because of our strength building, we'll be holding those poses for a little bit longer. I'll still provide some modifications along the way, so we'll give you some options as far as what you're comfortable with. Always stay away from any pain. Make sure you know your body better than anyone else, so just do what makes sense to you. As far as props for what you need, if you have a strap, just keep it nearby. Place it at like the center of your mat. Not super necessary, but good to have just in case. Same for the blocks, not super necessary, but if you do have them and like to use them, I would place them up at the top of your mat. All right, and we will get started on our backs. So go ahead and meet me there. Come onto your backs with your knees slightly bent and feet planted on the mat. With your feet planted on the mat, try to keep your entire spine, or at least as much of your spine as you can on the mat. So you can gently press your feet down and lift your hips up just a half inch, and then try to draw your tailbone to your heels, and then release your low back on the mat. It sometimes allows you to get more of your spine to rest on the mat here. And so as we settle in, just take a couple nice deep breaths here. Start to transition from whatever you are doing throughout the week and throughout the day, and start to bring your focus and attention onto yourself, your body, and your mind for this next hour of practice we have together. Always have the option to begin breathing through your nose, using your nostril breathing to restrict the amount of airflow you have coming in and out of your body at once, which builds a little bit of heat and at the same time slows your heart rate down. Regardless, however you're breathing, when you inhale, try to fill up your chest entirely. Belly, chest, ribs expand. And when you exhale, exhale deeply and completely. Let all the air out. Take 2 more deep breaths this way. And if your eyes happen to be closed, just blink your eyes open and we'll continue on with our practice. So let's gently hug the right knee into our chest. Extend and straighten that left leg straight out. Let the left leg straighten, flex the left toes, draw them back towards your face, and spin that inner left thigh in and down. We'll draw the right knee in towards that right shoulder as you extend that left heel away from the body. Bring some awareness to that low back, drawing that navel down. Again, trying to get as much of the spine to press into the mat. Staying for one more breath. And let's switch. Draw the left knee in, extend and straighten that right leg straight out, flexing both feet so the toes come back towards your face. Spinning the inner right thigh in and down towards the mat. It keeps the knee and the toes facing up towards the ceiling. Now we draw that left knee a little bit closer into that left shoulder as you use that right heel to press away from your body. One more breath here. And we'll switch again. This time you have the option as you hug your right knee in and extend your left leg out. Hover the left leg. Maybe you hover an inch or two of that left heel off the mat. If not, just release the heel back down. So same things here. Might feel a little bit different with your leg off the mat. We're still flexing both feet, trying to spin that inner left thigh in and down. Drawing the right knee in towards that right shoulder and extend and press that left heel away. One more breath here. And we'll switch that up. Draw the left knee in. Extend and straighten that right leg out. Same options, either hover or release the knee down to the mat. Spinning the inner right thigh in and down as you flex both toes back towards your face. Keeping the knee facing up towards the sky. Draw that left knee in towards that left shoulder and extend that right heel away. One more breath. And we'll switch one more time. So we draw the right knee in, re-extend that left leg, same options, knee up or down. This time we'll release the arms from the knee. Arms extend forward to the sides of your body with the palms face up. Bring your shoulders and the top of your head off the mat. So now we're engaging the core, drawing the navel in and down. If this is too much for you, just release the back of your head and your shoulders back down on the mat. Otherwise, same actions here. Flexing both feet, spinning that inner left thigh in and down. Keep drawing the right knee in, extending and pressing out through the left heel. Slight tuck of the chin, still in a nice long spine here. One more breath. And let's switch. So keep your head and shoulders up if you're doing that. Draw the left knee in and extend the right leg out. So we're just switching legs here. Keeping the arms extended, palms face up. Still flexing both feet. Spin that inner right thigh in and down. Draw the left knee in as you extend that right heel away from your body. Slight tuck of the chin. Keep those shoulders off the mat if you are. One more breath. And gently release the shoulders, back of the head. Draw the knees into your chest. You can wrap your arms around the shins. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. Gently rock from side to side, massaging that low back. And let's come back to stillness. Release the bottom of the feet back down on the mat. Keep your knees and your feet hips width distance, but walk your heels underneath your knees. You can feel that with usually the tips of your fingers can graze the backs of your heels. Arms down to the side. We'll add our dynamic bridge poses. So we're lifting our chest and our arms at the same time. So press the feet down into the mat, and on your inhale, lift your hips up, pelvis up, chest up, arms come up and overhead. So much so that the thumbs are touching the mat, fingertips extend away from the body, pinkies face up towards the sky. We're holding this just for a breath. And exhale, gently release, top of the spine, low back, last to arrive. Arms come down to your sides. Press your feet down into the mat. Inhale, lift the hips up, pelvis up, chest up, arms come up and overhead. So we're lifting everything, arms overhead. Thumbs down, pinkies up. Extend the fingertips away from the body. Keep spinning the inner thighs in and down. And we'll exhale as we gently release, top of the spine, low back, last to arrive. Arms down to the side. Let's do that one more time. Take an inhale as you press your feet down into the mat. And now lift your hips up, pelvis up, chest up, arms up again. Overhead. Thumbs down, pinkies up. Extending the fingertips away. Keep pressing the feet into the mat. Maybe lift a little bit higher. And gently release, top of the spine, low back, last to arrive, arms down to the sides. All right, let's hug both knees back into your chest. We'll roll up to a seat with our legs extended out in front of us. If you want to hold on to the backs of your thighs and roll up and down your spine a couple times, you can do that and meet us in a seat. Or if you want to just let your knees fall off to the side, press yourself up and have your legs extended out in a seat. Coming into our Dandasana pose with the legs extended, feet or hips width distance, with the toes still flexing back towards your face. Now in Dandasana pose, we keep our sit bones rooted on the mat. And right now, if you're just sitting without engaging and you feel like you're falling back, just place something underneath your sit bones. Roll up your mat, place a block or a towel to give you a little bit of elevation. Now let's place our arms down, fingers face forward, wrist back. Wrist creases are about parallel with your hips. So again, legs or hips width distance. Draw those toes back towards your face. Spin the inner thighs in and down, starting to engage the muscles in the legs. And we're still rooting ourselves, so we're not lifting our sit bones down, but we're engaging as many muscles in the body as we can. So let's start to turn on the arms. We're pressing the palms down into the mat. Roll the shoulders up and back. Try and firm the triceps in. Press down through your sit bones and rise up through the crown of your head in your Dandasana staff pose. May not look like much, but if you're doing it, you'll definitely feel it. Hug that navel in and back. Stay for one more breath. And exhale, gently release. All right, let's come and cross our legs. And our legs cross, I'll just turn to face you here. Just keep warming up the shoulders here. So let's inhale as we bring the arms up overhead, palms face each other. Exhale, turn the palms out, release the arms down to the sides. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, release the palms down and away. Two more times. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, palms out and down. Once more. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, turn the palms out and down. We'll add a twist now. So inhale, arms up overhead. Keep the arms up. Exhale as you twist to your right, then release the arms down. Coming back straight up to center, arms up overhead. Exhale, turn to the left, release the arms down to the sides. One more each way. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, turn to your right, release the arms down. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, turn to your left, release the arms down. Let's inhale back up to center. We'll add a twist again. Stay here for a moment. Soften the shoulders down away from the ears. But this time on our twists, our arms are going to stay up at shoulder height, the palms facing away. So inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, twist to your right, and then release your arms just to shoulder height, palms face away. You can turn your neck to start to look over the right fingertips. Keep both sit bones rooted. Stay for one more breath. And let's inhale back to center, both arms overhead. Exhale, twist to the left. Same thing. Arms stay up at shoulder height, palms face away. Turning from the navel up. Maybe turn the neck to look over the left fingertips. And on your inhale, come back up to center, both arms up overhead. One more time. Exhale, twist to your right from the navel up, palms face away, shoulder height. Stay for a breath. And inhale back to center, both arms up overhead. Exhale, twist to your left. Last time here. Palms face away. Staying for a breath here. Maybe you turn your neck to look back over the left fingertips. Inhale back up to center, both arms overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. All right, let's switch the class of your legs. So whichever leg is in front, place that in back. Come back to a cross-legged seat with your ankles underneath your knees. All right, our shoulders are a little bit warmed up here. Have your strap nearby if you might plan to use it. We'll come into a shoulder opener, shoulder stretch that we'll be coming back to in class. So we'll practice it here while we're seated. So the options here, with our arms behind our back. First option, if you want, clasp your fingers together. Bring the wrists together, straighten the arms back. Second option, if that doesn't work for you, grab opposite elbows. If that doesn't work, you can always use their strap here and grab opposite sides of the strap in either arm. And if you don't have a strap and neither of those work for you, just place your hands on your low back. So either way, whatever option you choose, you'll roll the shoulders up and back, trying to open up the chest, broadening the collarbones here. Most likely your chest comes forward, so try and hug the navel in and back. Draw some air into the back ribs. We'll add a forward fold here. So we'll inhale as we lengthen at a slight back bend. Maybe you gaze up. And exhale, start to hinge forward into your forward fold. We're coming right back up on our inhale. Lift yourself back up. And exhale, forward fold. Two more times. Inhale, lift yourself back up. Breathe into those back ribs. Exhale, forward fold. One more time. Inhale, lift yourself back up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift yourself back up. And let's release the clasp of your arms. You can shake them out a little bit. And then we'll come into tabletop. So you can come forward over your knees or send your legs off to the side and meet me in a nice tabletop here. In our tabletop, our wrists are directly below our shoulders, knees are below the hips, tops of the feet to the mat. Slight tuck of the chin, we'll hug the navel in and up. Take a nice deep breath here and exhale. Adding our cow cat. So starting with our cow, as we inhale, drop our navel, tailbone lift, heart comes forward, look up. Exhale, reverse, round the back, shoulders separate, head hangs heavy in our cat pose. 3 more times each way on your breath, moving through your cow cats, using this as an opportunity to connect your breath to your movement. So keep moving on your breath as you move through. And then meet me back in center with your nice long spine. Slight tuck of the chin, gazes up towards the top of the mat. Make sure your wrist creases are lined up with the short edge of the mat or slightly turned out. And we'll move on here. So let's curl the right toes under, extend and straighten that right leg back, and lift the right thigh up to hip height. Your shoulders should still square down, same as your pelvis. So we're not opening out here. We're still keeping that pelvis neutral. If this is too much, just release your toes back down to the mat. Otherwise, we'll add a little bit of crunching here. So take a nice deep inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, bend the knee, send it up to the right tricep. And then inhale as you lengthen. Bend the knee, left tricep, if you can. Inhale, lengthen. Then come through center, bend the knee to nose. And inhale, lengthen, re-extend. And then release that right knee down. We'll switch to the other side. So curl the left toes under, extend and straighten that left leg back, flexing the left toes, spinning the inner left thigh in and up, hugging that navel in and up. Make sure you're nice and square, shoulders and pelvis facing down. And here we go. Inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, bend the left knee, left tricep. Inhale, lengthen, extend that leg back. Exhale, left knee, right tricep across the body. Inhale as you lengthen. And exhale, knee to nose, curl like your cat. Inhale, lengthen, and then release that knee back down to the mat, tops of the feet to the mat. All right, let's send our hips back towards our heels, but keep your torso up. We'll roll out the wrist a little bit. If this is uncomfortable, you can curl your toes under, or you can just come to a cross-legged seat. So whatever works for you. We'll just work out the wrists a little bit here. So let's cross the fingers, bring the wrists together, and try to bring the elbows together or close together. And then just start to roll your wrists in like a figure 8 symbol. Just gently starting in one direction. Have a loose clasp of your fingers here. And let's gently switch directions. Those of you that may have joined us after we first started practice may have missed the little introduction by Oliver and Coney. They were running around causing some mayhem right as class started. Not sure where they are now. They might come back. All right, come back to stillness. Release the clasp of your fingers. Let's bring the backs of our wrists to touch. And let's roll the wrists in a circle here, trying to keep the base of the wrist touching as you roll through. And just begin to slow and move in the opposite direction. Oh, here we got one of the guys here. What's up, Coney? What's your brother doing? All right, come back to stillness, a little bit of wrist love. Just shake the arms and the hands out. And we'll come back into our tabletop. So wrists are again below the shoulders. This time, we'll come up into our down dog and we'll move forward with our same knee to triceps and nose. If that's too much for you, you can just drop your knees and come down and repeat what we just did. Otherwise, starting with your wrists over your ankles, curl the left toes under, keep the toes on the mat, curl the right toes under, come into your plank pose for just a breath, and then lift your hips up and back into your downward facing dog. So we're going to move right from here. So you're either in your down dog or you're dropping down to your knees, repeating what we did before from our tabletop. So let's lift the right leg up and back to hip height, flexing the right toes, spin that right thigh in and up towards the sky. Take a nice deep inhale as you lengthen, and exhale, shifting forward as you bend the right knee to right tricep, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, re-extend back into your three-legged dog, press the heel up. And exhale, bend the knee, left tricep, shoulders over wrists. Inhale as you re-extend, straightening that leg up and back. And exhale, knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, re-extend. Stay in your down dog. Just drop your right leg to meet the left leg. We'll switch to the other side. So let's lift the left leg up and back, spinning the inner left thigh in and up, flexing the left toes, press back to that left heel. Inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, bend that left knee, shoulders over wrists, left knee, left tricep. Inhale, re-extend, three-legged dog, press that heel up to the sky. Exhale, bend the left knee, right tricep, shoulders over wrists. Re-extend that left knee up and back, and to the center, left knee to nose, round like in your cat pose. And inhale, re-extend. Let's drop that left foot back down to meet the right. And pedal out your legs. Feel free to take your dog for a walk for a couple breaths here. Always have the option to drop down to your knees in your down dog. We're just here for 2 breaths. One more breath in your movement. And then come back to stillness in your down dog. Let's inhale as we gaze forward. Bend the knees, exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Feet or hips width distance, stay in your forward fold. Come into ragdoll, grab opposite elbows, let your head hang heavy. You can gently start to rock from side to side. Switch the clasp of your elbows, keep rocking from side to side, or you might just be one that likes to stay right in the center. And come back to stillness. Let your head and your arms hang heavy. And we'll come up to standing nice and slow. So let's press down through the feet, let the head and the arms hang heavy. Start to lift yourself up, stacking one vertebrae on top of the other. Head and the neck are the last thing to arrive. Taking your time to come up. And once you're up here, let's roll those shoulders up and back a couple times. And slow that opposite direction. Roll those shoulders back and forward. All right, so come to the top of your mat if you're not already there. Mountain pose, feet or hips width distance. Place your hands on your hips to start. Thumbs back and the fingers forward. Use your thumb to draw your tailbone down. Fingers lift the frontal hip points up. What that is doing is countering our tendency to have more of a lordotic curve in our low back. So we're drawing the tailbone down, lifting the frontal hip points up. Now keep all that. Release your arms down to your sides, palms face forward. With the palms facing forward, that's our external rotation at our shoulder sockets, allowing us to broaden our collarbones and soften our shoulders away from the ears. Chin is parallel with the mat. Take a nice, long, slow, deep inhale. And exhale. All right, let's move. Continue warming up the body here. So on your next inhale, let's raise the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Press through your feet. Inhale, lift back up to standing, arms overhead. And exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. Let's repeat that. Inhale, raise the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Press your feet into the mat. Inhale, lift the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take a moment here. And we'll add on to our series here. So with your feet nice and hips width distance, let's inhale, raise the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Plant both your palms down this time, directly underneath your shoulders. And then step your right foot back, step your left foot back in your plank pose. We're holding plank pose for 5 to 6 breaths here. You always have the option to drop your knees to the mat. Same thing in our plank pose as in our mountain. We'll draw the tailbone down towards the heels. Try and lift your frontal hip points up to your front bottom ribs, drawing the navel in and up. Shoulders over wrist regardless with the fingers nice and spread. Keep pressing the heels back, gazes up towards the top of your mat. Holding for 2 more breaths here. 1 more breath. We got it. And let's drop the knees down, shift the torso forward, bend the elbows lower all the way to the mat. Top to the feet to the mat. Let's extend our arms down so our forehead stays on the mat, extending our arms down to our sides. We'll come into that same bind that we practiced when we were seated. So you have the option to clasp your fingers, grab opposite elbows, use your strap in either arm, or palms come to the low back with the fingers facing down. So choose the option that works for you. We'll press the top of the feet into the mat, press the hips down. Send the arms down, send the shoulders down your back, and on your next inhale, lift the head up, chest up into our modified locust pose here. Keep releasing the tailbone down towards the heels. We're looking for more length rather than height, so send your heart forward and draw your fingers and your arms down away. 1 more breath here. And exhale, gently release, forehead down. We'll repeat that, but switch the clasp of either your elbows or your fingers. So either opposite thumb on top or grab the opposite elbow. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. On your next inhale, let's lift the head up, chest up. Shoulders draw down your back, fingers away from your shoulders. Keep drawing them down, sending the heart forward. Slight tuck of the chin. Gaze is more out ahead rather than up. 1 more breath here. And exhale, gently release. Release the clasp of your arms. Place your hands back beside your ribs. Fingers face forward with the wrist back. Check to make sure your wrists are directly underneath your elbows. Okay, so listen carefully here. Start by curling the toes under, and then press the heels back so the knees start to lift off the mat. Your legs are starting to engage. Start to engage the muscles in your arms, and on your next inhale, start to engage the muscles in your arms. Take a nice deep inhale, and on your exhale, press yourself right up into your plank pose. See if you can press right up, shoulders over wrists, and then we'll lift the hips up and back into our downward facing dog. Let's stay in our down dog for 3 breaths. Keep spinning the inner thighs in and up towards the sky, pressing the chest back towards the thighs. Heels press back and down. Keep hugging those triceps in. Stay for 1 more breath. And exhale. Let's inhale as we gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Press your feet into the mat. Inhale, lift the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. We'll move right on. Inhale, raise the arms up overhead. And exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms. Keep your left foot forward. Extend the right leg back. Keeping the knee up, then we'll drop the right heel down. Coming into our warrior 2 feet. So right toes are slightly forward. Heel toe the left foot so that you have heel to arch alignment. Left arm to the inside edge, right arm to the sky. Press down through your feet and lift up into your warrior 2 pose. Let's check into our warrior 2. Make sure that left knee tracks over the left ankle. And try and square your shoulders to the long edge side of your mat. Turning your neck to look over those left fingertips, settling into your Warrior Two pose here. Let's add a little bit of dynamicness here. So as we inhale, we'll straighten the front leg, bring both arms overhead, and exhale, rebend into Warrior Two. 3 more times. Inhale, arms overhead, straighten the front leg. Exhale, rebend, Warrior Two. 2 more times on your own. Make sure when you rebend that front knee, it tracks closer to the pinky side edge rather than the big toe edge. Last one, releasing back into your Warrior Two, holding here. We'll reverse our warrior. So left palm raises up to the sky. Release the right arm down behind you. Lift the left arm up. Start to side bend over to the right. Maybe this right hand comes to that left thigh or just stays on your low back or on your right leg. Gaze can turn to look up towards the fingertips. Stay for one more breath. And lift back up into your Warrior Two. Now we'll come into our side angle. So low body stays exactly as it is. We'll shift the upper body, the torso, send the left arm forward. When you can't go any further, release the left arm to the inside edge of that left thigh. Right arm up to the sky. Now, options here. Keep the left arm where it is, or you can drop the left arm to the inside edge, outside edge, or to a block. So choose what works for you. Either way, right arm up to the sky, pinky side edge turns forward, palm faces forward. Keep trying to spin that keep trying to spin that outer left thigh in and under as you press back through the right leg. Option to send that arm overhead so that you have bicep next to ear. Maybe you turn your gaze to look up underneath that right arm. Stay for one more breath. And now we'll stay low, turn low, release the right arm down, release the left arm down, either side of that front foot. Come up on that back heel. Now we're staying low still, but we're going to walk our hands to the right side edge of our mat. As we walk, our toes face the long side edge of our mat. So we're coming into a wide-legged fold here. But before we fold, we're going to come up. So slightly bend the knees, place your hands to your hips, and lift your torso up. In our forward fold, we're going to add that clasp behind our back. So choose what option you've been working on. Either clasp your fingers, elbows, strap, or hands to the low back. So once you have that, try to roll the shoulders up and down your back. Draw the navel in and back. Inhale as you add a slight back bend, heart to the sky. And exhale, hinge forward. Wide-legged forward fold here with our bind. Once you come about halfway, you can slightly let the head and the chin tuck to let the head hang heavy. Either way, you're sending more of the weight into the toes, but keeping the heels on the mat. Drawing the kneecaps up towards the hips. Maybe raise the arms off your back just a little bit more. Staying for 2 more breaths here. Keep drawing the legs in towards each other. 1 more breath. And stay low. Just release the clasp of your arms. Slight bend in the knees. Lift up halfway. Place your hands to your hips. And then on your next inhale, press down through your feet. Lift all the way back up. We'll repeat that, but now switching the clasp of our hands. So switch whichever finger was on top or which elbow you were clasping behind your back. We'll repeat that process. So draw that tailbone down. Lift the frontal hip points up. Extend the shoulders up and down your back. Inhale as you lift the heart to the sky. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Really firm up those legs. Once you come about halfway, you can slightly tuck the chin, letting the head hang heavy. Keep shifting the weight forward, but keep the heels on the mat. Draw the kneecaps up into the hips. Really start to firm the legs in towards each other. Staying here for 2 more breaths. Lifting the arms up and off your back. 1 more breath. And now stay low, release the arms, slight bend in the knees. Lift up halfway. We're still staying low, but we'll walk our hands to the right side edge of our mat. Or I should say the back of our mat now. So walk your hands over your right leg. Lifting that back heel up for a moment in our low lunge, and we'll come into warrior two footing on this side. So release that left heel down, left toes are slightly forward. Heel toe the right foot in, so you have heel to arch alignment, toes facing forward. Right arm to the inside, lift the left arm up to the sky, press through your feet, and inhale as you lift up into warrior two. Settle into your warrior two for a moment here. Make sure that right knee tracks over that right ankle. Shoulders are squared to the long edge side of your mat. Turning your neck to look over those right fingertips. Take one more inhale and exhale. All right, here we go. Inhale, let's straighten the front leg, bring both arms overhead. Exhale, warrior two. 3 more times. Inhale, arms overhead. Straighten that front leg. Exhale, warrior two. 2 more times. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, warrior two. Once more here. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, warrior two. Make sure that front knee tracks closer to that pinky side edge. We'll add our side angle. Actually, let's reverse our warrior first. So turn the right palm up. Release that left arm to the back left leg, or bring it behind your back. And lift the right arm up to the sky, side bend in your reverse warrior. Keeping that front knee bent. Maybe your gaze comes up to look at those right fingertips. Again, that left arm is either on the left leg, or maybe you add it to a half bind behind your back, reaching towards that right thigh. One more breath here. And then lift back up into your warrior two, side angle. So keeping the low body just as it is. Send the right arm forward, torso comes forward. When you can't go any farther forward, release the right arm to the inside edge of that right thigh, left arm to the sky. Option one is to stay here. Next option, drop your right hand either to the inside or outside edge of that right knee. Use a block underneath your palm if you'd like, but have that left arm overhead. Try and stack your shoulders, really broaden the collarbones, adding a twist here as you start to open that arm. Last option, if you'd like, left arm comes overhead, bicep next to ear. Creating a nice long line from the back outer edge of that left foot all the way through those left fingertips. Staying for one more deep breath here. And then stay low, turn towards the mat, release the left arm down, right arm down, come up on that back heel. Send the right foot to meet the back foot. We're staying here in our plank. Now, coming into side plank, what we'll do is with your feet at hips width distance, drop both heels to the right. When you drop both heels to the right, the outer edge of that right foot is on the mat and the inside edge of the left foot. Then you'll open up. Bring the left hand to the left hip and start to stack your shoulders. So side plank with both feet down on the mat. Option here to draw the left arm up to the sky, turning the palm forward. You can gaze to look up towards those left fingertips. Try and lift those hips up to the sky. Staying for one more breath. And exhale, gently release that left arm back down into plank. Keep your feet hips width distance. We'll switch to the other side. So you just drop both heels to the left. Start to stack your shoulders. Bring that right arm to the hip. Lifting those hips up. Option to raise the right arm up to the sky, turning the palm forward. Turning your neck to look up towards those right fingertips if you'd like. Lift those hips up a little bit higher. Stay for one more breath. And exhale, gently release back into your plank pose. Everyone drop to your knees, shift forward, bend the elbows, lower all the way to the mat. Top to the feet to the mat. We'll inhale into our baby cobra. Send our heart forward, chest forward. Release the tailbone down, hug the ankles in towards each other. Shoulders draw down, elbows draw in towards each other. One more breath. And exhale, gently release. Curl the toes under. Let's press our hips up through tabletop, knees down, and then lift your hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Stay here for 3 breaths in your down dog. Again, always have the option to drop to your knees in tabletop or child's pose if you need a little rest. Staying for one more breath here. And now inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees, exhale, walk your step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Inhale, lift up halfway. exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lift up to standing, arms overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. All right. If you're at the back of your mat, you can come to the top. And from here, let's bring our big toes to touch. So with our big toes touching and our heels separating, again, place your hands back on your hips. Enjoy this moment of rest before we get right back into it. So with our hands at our hips, thumbs back and our fingers forward, same thing. Use the thumbs to draw that tailbone down, fingers to lift the frontal hip points up. Keep that, release the arms down, palms face forward. This time with our knees, with our big toes touching, our heels slightly separating, we're coming to our chair pose. So knees bend, hips come back, arms come forward. With the arms forward, palms face each other. Make sure you can gaze down and still see your toes. If not, you need to shift your hips back a little bit more. Now we'll add a twist just like when we were seated and we kept our arms up at shoulder height. So the lower body below the pelvis stays stationary. We're just twisting from the navel up. So inhale to create length in the spine, and exhale, twist from the navel up to your right. Extend the right arm back. Left and right arm are both up at shoulder height, palms face away from you. Maybe you turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. Draw that left hip back, most likely it came forward. Stay for one more breath. Stay in your chair pose, back to center, both arms forward. And exhale, twist to your left this time. So left arm comes back, both arms at shoulder height, palms face away. Keep hugging the legs in towards each other. Draw that right hip back. Maybe the neck turns to look over those left fingertips. Staying for one more breath here. And back in the center. And from here, stay for a moment. And exhale, forward fold. Take a nice long inhale as you raise up halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms. Step your right foot back. Step your left foot back. Let's lift our hips up and back into our downward facing dog here. Now we'll come right into it. So let's lift the right leg up and back to hip height. Flexing the right toes, pressing back through the right heel. Bend the right knee into your chest, shift forward, shoulders over wrists. Step the right foot up to the top of the mat. If it doesn't make it there in the first try, just step it up so it's at the top. Make sure you have your right foot on the right side. Left foot is on the left side of the mat. Keeping the right knee tracking over the right ankle, pressing back to the left heel. Inhale as you raise the arms forward and up, torso lifts, high lunge here. So arms overhead. Place your hands to your hips again. Thumbs back, fingers forward. Same thing. Use your thumbs to draw the tailbone down, fingers to lift the frontal hip points up. Now, we'll add that bind that we've been practicing. So releasing the arms behind your back, interlacing the fingers, grab the elbows, strap, or hands to your low back. Draw the fingers and the arms away, roll the shoulders up and then down your back. Inhale as you create a slight back bend, gaze up towards the sky. Low body stays the same, and then exhale as you hinge forward over that front knee. So we're hinging forward. Maybe you come to the inside edge of that right thigh. You can let that chin slightly tuck, let the head hang heavy, lifting those arms off your back even more. Maybe your gaze comes back towards that left toes. Stay for one more breath in your humble warrior. And then press down through your feet. Inhale, lift yourself back up. Release the clasp of your hands. Bring the arms up overhead for just a breath. And place your hands back down to the center of your chest in your prayer pose. Okay, we've got one more action here. So we're coming into warrior 3. So start to shift forward just slightly, halfway, 45 degrees. Create a nice long spine. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale, shift forward, press up off that back leg, lift the back leg up to hip height. Flexing the foot, spinning the inner left thigh in and up. Torso is parallel with the mat. Slight tuck of the chin. Try and drop that left hip down and keep pressing back through the left heel. Stay for one more breath. And then gently release that left leg back into your lunge. Lift your torso up, arms overhead. And then exhale, release the arms forward and down. Send the front foot to meet the back foot. Drop your knees down, shift forward, elbows bend, lower all the way to the mat. Tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale, lift up into your baby cobra. Staying just for a breath here. Exhale, gently release the forehead down. Curl the toes under, press yourself up into down dog. Come through tabletop with knees down first if you need to. So we're all back in down dog. We'll switch to the other side so you know what's coming here. Let's lift that left leg up to hip height, flexing the left toes. Spin that inner left thigh in and up towards the sky. And then bend your left knee into your chest, shift forward, shoulders over wrists. Step the left foot up to the top of the mat. Left foot on one side, right foot on the other side. Keeping the left knee tracking over that left ankle. Press down through your feet. And inhale as you lift the arms forward and up. High lunge, arms overhead. Releasing the hands back down to the hips. Thumbs back, fingers forward. You use the thumbs to draw the tailbone down. Fingers to lift the frontal hip points up. Keep pressing back through that right heel to straighten that back leg. You can have a slight bend if you need. And then let's add our bind. So switching the clasp, whichever elbow was on top from the first side or finger. Straightening the arms back, rolling the shoulders up and back. Breathe into those back ribs. Inhale as you lengthen, create a slight back bend, heart to the sky. And then exhale, hinge forward. Humble warrior. You can have a slight tuck of the chin, letting your head hang heavy. Try and raise those arms off your back. Gaze maybe comes back to those back toes. Stay for one more breath. And press down through your feet. Inhale, lift back up. Release the clasp of your arms. Arms come overhead. And then exhale, hands down through center, prayer pose. We'll shift forward about halfway, 45 degrees. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, press up off that back leg. Lift the back leg up to your warrior three. Torso comes parallel to the mat. Leg comes up. Keep flexing that back toe. Keep pressing back through the back right heel as you extend out through the crown of your head. Draw the right hip down. Firm that outer left thigh in. Staying for one more breath in your warrior three. Lift that back leg a little bit higher. And exhale, bend that front knee. Release the back leg back. Raise the arms and torso back up into your high lunge. And then exhale, arms come forward and down. Send the front foot to meet the back foot. Dropping the knees down, shifting forward, bend the elbows, lower all the way to the mat. Tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale into your last back bend. Baby Cobra. If you want to make it a half or full Cobra by straightening the arms half or full. Either way, keep your shoulders over your wrists. Take one more breath. And exhale, gently release. Forehead down. Keep the tops of the feet on the mat. Press yourself up, keep your knees down, and just send your hips back to your heels. Come into your child's pose. Knees can be together or wide. Use this time to reconnect with your breathing. A lot of our strength poses that we hold for longer, it can be really easy to lose track of our breath. That can really be a guide for us. So use this time to take some nice, slow, deep breaths to reconnect with yourself. One more deep breath. And now lift your hips off your heels. Lift your forehead up. Send your legs off to the side and back around. We'll come back to a seat with our legs out in front of us again. So again, if you need to sit up on something to keep your spine nice and long, go for it. You're more than welcome here. Now, coming back into that Dandasana pose, just for a breath here. So, having the feet hips width distance, spinning the inner thighs in and down, place the arms down beside. But this time we'll have the fingers facing back. So the wrist creases are still lined up with the hips, but the fingers face back this time. So, drawing the toes back toward your chest by flexing, spinning the inner thighs in and down. Press your palms into the mat, start to engage your triceps, Hug the navel in and back, lift the crown of the head to the sky. Keep your hips on the mat though, starting to engage every muscle that you can think of. Creating a nice long spine, Dandasana staff pose. Draw those shoulders down your back. One more breath. And exhale, gently release. Okay. So we're moving on from that. You can stay there if you want to repeat that. Otherwise, we're coming up into reverse plank pose. So bend your knees and place the bottoms of your feet on the mat. Knees and the feet are still hips width distance. Now start again with your arms beside you, fingers face back, and the wrists are about level with the hips. Roll the shoulders up and back. And again, if this is too much for you, just stay in your Dandasana staff pose. Repeat that. Otherwise, if you're coming with me, press your feet down into the mat. And on your inhale, lift the hips up, pelvis up, chest up into your reverse plank pose. Really broaden the collarbones. You can either keep the neck engaged, or if it feels right for you, just gently let the head drop behind. But try and lift the hips up maybe a little bit more. Press your feet into the mat, really engaging those hamstrings, quadriceps. One more breath here. And gently start to lower, nice and slowly. All right, we have one more option. If you'd like to advance, we'll do a full plank pose with our legs straight. So if you're just totally done with that, repeat your Dandasana staff pose with just keeping yourself fully on the mat. If you want to repeat your reverse plank with your knees bent, you can do that. Otherwise, final option, we'll start with our legs straight, just as we do in our Dandasana staff pose, and we'll lift up into our reverse plank with our legs straightened. It's obviously the most challenging, so just see what works for you. Now, as far as arm position in our reverse plank, it's traditionally done with the fingers facing forward, but sometimes with the fingers facing back it can be a little more accessible. So choose what works for you. If you're coming with Sorry, I think my headset just lost battery, so I'm switching to the camera's headset, so I might sound a lot different. I haven't calibrated that audio, so hopefully you can still hear me. But we're almost to the end of practice, so here we go. I think it looks like you can still hear me. Okay. So for coming up into full plank pose, two options for your arm position. Fingers face back could be more accessible in an external rotation, or fingers forward with the wrists lined up with your hips. So choose what works for you. Point the toes, press down through your feet, and on your inhale, lift the hips up, pelvis up, chest up. Maybe walk your legs out a little bit further. Try to keep your shoulders over your wrists. Same thing, lifting the hips up. So either your knees are bent, repeating what we did before, or your legs are straight with the toes pointed. Same option with the head. So keep the neck engaged or let the head fall back. Stay for one more breath. And gently lower the hips down. Whew. Alright, wherever you are, just bend your knees, send your hips up to the front, hold on to your shins or your thighs, and let's roll down onto our spines. Just stay on your back for a breath here. Now place your hands down to your sides. Walk your heels back underneath your knees and draw your right knee into your chest. Open the right knee out to the side and place the outside edge of that right knee, of that right ankle on top of that left knee. We're working for a figure 4 here. Now, have the options here. You can stay right here if this is enough for you. Otherwise, you can send your arms through. Your right hand comes through both legs, left arm to the outside. Wrap your hands either around your left thigh, or you can bring that left foot off the mat, wrapping your hands around your left shin. Either way, your shoulders should stay rooted on the mat. Flexing both toes, keep drawing that left knee into your chest. You can shift the right thigh away from your body. And then last option, if you'd like, hold on to the back of your thigh and straighten that left leg up to the sky, flexing the left foot, drawing that left heel up towards the sky. So choose whatever option works for you. We're really opening the hip here, so we're drawing that right hip away, drawing the left thigh towards us. One more breath. And gently release left foot back down to the mat. Release the right foot to meet the left foot. Stay for a breath. Alright, moving to the other side, drawing the left knee into your chest. Open that left knee out to the side, left ankle to the top of that right knee. So same options. If this is enough, just stay right here. Otherwise, send that left arm through, right arm wraps around your thigh, or both fingers can wrap around your shin. Just keep your shoulders on your mat. Flexing both feet here, so drawing that right knee in, extending that left thigh away from your body. Keeping both feet flexed. Final option, arms around the thigh, extend that right leg straight, bottom of the foot up towards the sky. Still flexing both feet. Staying for 2 breaths here. Keeping both shoulders rooted regardless. And gently release that foot down. Release that left leg down. We'll add a spinal twist here. So we'll hug our knees into our chest. First option, keep the knees and the feet together, and you can let the knees fall off to the left side. Otherwise, wrap your right knee on top of your left knee. If you want to go further, wrap the feet as well. Shift your hips to the right, just an inch or two, and then let the knees fall off to the left. So you can do that, or just keep the knees and the feet together if you don't want to bind. Either way, extend both arms out, shoulder height, palms face up. Keep the knees at least up at hip height, and then if you'd like, turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. Stay for 3 breaths here. Gently bring your gaze back up towards the sky. Bring your knees back up to center. Release the bind, tops of the feet back on the mat. Recenter your hips. We'll switch to the other side. So just repeat what you did on the first side to the other side. So if you're wrapping your legs, left knee on top of the right knee, staying here, or if you want to wrap the feet as well. Shifting the hips off to the left side an inch or two, and then you drop the knees to the right. Shifting our hips just allows us to keep our spine a little more centered on our mat. Try to at least have the knees up at hip height, arms at shoulder height, palms face up. Keep that left shoulder rooted. If you need to lift the knees up to make that happen, I'd rather you keep that opposing shoulder rooted on the mat. And then you can turn your neck to look over those left fingertips. Three breaths here. One more breath. And then turn back to the center. Bring your knees back up to center. Unwind. Recenter your hips. Let's draw the knees back up into your chest. Separate the knees wide. Bring the bottoms of the feet to face up towards the sky. Happy baby pose. Options for your arms. Grab the outsides of your thighs, outsides of your calves or shins, or grab the outsides of your feet with your elbows to the inside of your knees. Low back should stay on the mat. You can stay in the center, or if you like to live dangerously, you can gently rock from side to side. Sometimes I get stuck when I do this, but it's worth the risk sometimes. It can be a nice little massage to the low back. Alright, let's all meet back in center. Release the clasp of your feet or legs. Draw the knees back into your chest one last time. Lift the back of your head and your shoulders off the mat. Come into an egg shape. Give yourself a nice little squeeze here. Squeeze everything in. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And exhale, extend everything. Extend the legs away from your body. Arms overhead. Point the toes. Extend the fingertips. One last full body stretch, stretch, stretch here. And exhale, release. Arms down to the sides, palms face up, legs long, let the knees and the feet fall out to the side. And begin to settle into our final pose of practice, our Shavasana pose here. If you prefer any other way to complete your practice, you can choose that option. Maybe you put blocks underneath your knees. You can bring the bottoms of your feet together, knees out to the side. Just do whatever works for you that allows you to settle in, releasing any bit of tension. And try to have as much of your back, your spine, placed on your mat. You can gently begin to soften your gaze or close your eyes completely. And finally, release any control over your breath. Just be. And just begin to bring some awareness back into your body. You can wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists and your ankles. And switch directions in those rotations. And come back to stillness for one last breath here on your back. Now gently begin to bend your knees in towards your chest as you roll over to one side of your body. Let your top arm rest on your bottom arm, top knee rest on your bottom knee. Stay for a breath here on your side. Now try to keep your eyes softened or your gaze closed as you use your top arm to press yourself up into a comfortable cross-legged seated position to complete your practice today. And once you're in your comfortable cross-legged seat, palms can rest on top of the knees, palms face up, or bring your hands into the center of your chest. Let's all take a nice, slow, deep inhale in together. Through the mouth, exhale. Thank you all for joining me in practice today. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. Alright, thank you all so much today. I felt like the odds were out to get us. We had the rainstorm, but we were fine with the power. Those of you that saw the Coney and Oliver battle at the beginning of class, that was pretty good. If you want to see that, go ahead and rewatch the video, and this comes out on YouTube for replay in a couple hours. That was pretty good. And sorry about my speaker, my headset. Halfway through class it said it was low battery, and I thought, oh, maybe it'll get through class, but it cut out like 10 minutes before, so hopefully you could still hear me okay. It looks like you can. Looks like people are still here, so everyone didn't dip out. But great job getting through class. This was a tough one. This is definitely a strength training one. So hopefully we still stretched out a little bit afterwards. If you followed right along, you might feel it a little bit this weekend, but it could be a good thing that a lot of times on Fridays, it's nice to get a nice, good practice in to take you through the weekend. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. You can leave them in the chat, in the comments. If you want to reach out to me directly, my info is in that video description. If you'd like to donate to racial or social justice or just find out more info, that link is always in the description as well. And yeah, I think that's it. So we'll have, next practice should be Tuesday at 7 p.m. The fundamental classes are moving from Monday to Tuesday, so Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern should be the next class. And I think that's all I have to say. So enjoy your weekend. Again, my name is Daniel with Daniel Lee Yoga. See you next time in practice. Peace.